Hello everyone and welcome to another video on my channel. Today I will be looking at my collection of 00 gauge or scale 1 to 76 cars, both old, like vintage and new. These are the ones I have so far, with plenty more to come as I have loads more to buy. I've got a few that have to be delivered. And I decided to do just the normal cars, like the normal street cars first, and do a separate video with trucks, lorries and plant equipment, because there will just be too many for one video. So I will start with the slightly older ones. Most of them are Oxford Diecast, but there are other makers as well. It's just that I found these a bit more accurate. And this is a set of 3 Morris Minors, if I can ever get them out. There we go. That's a tricky box too. There we go. So we've got 3 different variants of the Morris Minor. It's green, black and blue. Obviously 3 different utilities. Got a convertible one that I reckon that would still look cool today. I mean, all 3 of them are quite stylish and regarded as classics nowadays, but they just looked way too cool not to have in my collection, so I had to get them. So that's the 3 Morris Minors. Eventually, most of these will go on a layout I'm planning to build. Obviously in 00 gauge, but I do have N gauge as well, and in future videos you'll see the models of that. So this one is very old and new. It's a triple taxi set. So you've got the very old all the way to the new electric black cab. Reminds me of the Ford Model T, although it might not be. Let's see, what does it say? It only says triple taxi, but still, you've got 3 different eras here, 3 different style black cabs, and if I want to do an urban scene, these are a must. They're not branded, but I guess it's better like that. So yeah, that's another thing I really wanted in my collection. So that's the 3 taxis, and now we're going to move on to some singles. So I'll deal with this later. And I'll start with these 2 classics cars, and that's this first one. Just a little card, but this is basically an Austin A30 in a county fire service livery. You can see there, fire control. Again, this is one of those little cars that I decided to buy because I'm not just gonna try to cover one era. I'm gonna try to do 3 or 4 different eras, especially with the trains, and these will be lovely additions to my layout. I'll move on to another classics, which is the Austin A40 Devon 4-door saloon. This time as a police car. Why won't you? There we go. I will try to find a place for this one on the layout as well. So that is, like I said, a police car in the shape of an Austin A40 Devon. So that's the two classics I've got so far, and the rest of them should all be Oxford Diecasts. Yes, so I'm gonna go with the slightly older ones first, and let's start with this one. This one's actually seen better days. See, the box is crushed. I got it very cheap, so at least the so this is a standard Vanguard in black color. Although the boxes has clearly been through a lot, I'm happy to see that the actual car is in mint condition, so that's all that matters. So that's again one of the oldies. This one I like quite a lot. It's a Morris Marina, and the paint scheme it's wearing is actually the Cheshire Police. This box again seems not to want to open. There we go. So there you have it, quite a lot of detail. You can see the police logo and the siren, very interesting, and the searchlights on top. All of these cars you will see in the video will either go on a layout on the rotation basis, or some of them will be on a permanent display, depending on the theme I will eventually choose for the yeah, of course they decided not to close, and the camera dropped as well. I'm going to deal with that one later as well. We'll move on to another police car. This is Met Police, a Wolseley 680. This one can't wait to be opened. Again, a very nice looking classic car. The police logo on the grille there, and the sirens, the old-fashioned sirens on top. But I just think it's a lovely addition to my collection. I guess it'll go great with the sort of steam train layout, and with this in the background. We'll move on to some VW vans. Actually there's 4, so I'm going to do all 4. This one I only got because I'm a huge aviation enthusiast mainly, and then a collector of all things. But this caught my eye because it's actually one that's been used by the RAF, Royal Air Force Police, RAF Police. Oh, come on. Give me 1 second. There we go. So you can even see the RAF roundel over there. It's a bay window bus, VW, RAF police. I honestly don't know whether this is going to be needed on a layout, unless I do a sort of mix of an RAF base next to some civilian stuff, which is highly unlikely, but I had to have it in my collection because, like I said, anything RAF, I will always try to buy anything Air Force or airport related. I'm going to deal with this one later as well. I'm not going to waste time on the boxes. This one, another VW, the famous VWTs. This one with surfboards on top, and I got this because of how colorful it is, and it has the peace logo, and it's like looks very flower power. So it even says "Make Love Not War," famous slogan. But I love the color. This would look a little nice on any layout because there's no era to it. There's loads of people who restore these nowadays, and so it's perfectly normal to see one even now in modern times. So we'll see how this. I'm going to try to use this to add some color to any layout I will make. Coming to a more recent VW. Again, I used to have a neighbor that had one of these in blue, and it brought back a couple of memories. But again, for anything before the 90s, this would look. I mean, between it before pre-2000, this would look quite cool. So I actually got all three of these at the same time from the same seller on eBay. He just had loads of them, and these are the ones that caught my eye. This is a T4 Westphalia camper, slightly more modern. Oh, that dropped easily, and you can see the roof is a sort of roof that comes up and forms a tent, and even on the inside you can see it's got the furniture and only the 2 seats there, and a lot of storage inside. So that's, again, for a remote side of the layout, this will look quite cool as a camper van next to some maybe trailers, or I'll try to improvise something, but it gives me options, so that's why I got it. So that's that, and we're now going to do the more modern ones, and I'm going to start with, why not? I'm going to start with this Land Rover Freelander in the London Underground livery. You can see emergency incident vehicle, quite fancy. I like the way it looks in this livery. I mean, the Freelander is a nice car. Camera dropped again, as per usual. The Freelanders look nice, as I said, in any paint scheme, but this is particularly nice. So if I ever choose to do anything modern, this can look quite cool trackside. If I do like a London design. We'll move on to this Ford Transit Connect in the Royal Mail livery. Again, for a London scene, this I think is a must. You always see these Royal Mail little vans all over London. So I think I made a good choice by getting it. It's an 06 plate for Transit Connect. So that can go back in the box. The next ones are obvious choices because these are mostly London based, like more London stuff. This Land Rover Discovery 3, Met Police colours. And it's quite detailed. This is a 10 plate, so quite recent. They've nailed the delivery quite well. But I guess for an even more modern layout, I would have to hunt for some BMWs, and if it's a 4x4, more like BMW X5s or something like that. I also got this because London is full of Range Rovers anyway. That's a Range Rover Vogue in the silver. The UK actually is full of Range Rovers. Nice panoramic roof, lovely interior. This looks good it doesn't matter whether it's a London based layout or countryside. It still looks, for a modern era, I guess this would look perfectly normal in front of a nice cottage in the countryside, or just in front of a London house. Now this one I got because I actually had one just like this one, although this is a Ford Galaxy, and as you can see by its plate, it's a 58, so it's a 2008. But the shape hasn't changed much to the one I had, which was a 2012 plate. I guess the tire has to be pushed back, but I drove this for quite some time. I'm very familiar with the car, and I just got it because it's close to my heart. And again, for London, I guess I can brand it as a mini cab or just a people's carrier. Again, it's a perfectly normal car to see on London roads, mainly as mini cabs nowadays, but it's a famous taxi company that I won't mention that used to exclusively use black Ford Galaxies. And so yeah, for a London based layout, it will make perfect sense. Back to the London Underground, this time a Ford Transit Connect, which is similar to the Royal Mail one in shape. '58 again, 08 plate, and just a basic London Underground logo. But yeah, I got it again because it will look perfectly normal if I do a London based bit of layout, to have this and the Freelander track side on a side road, because there's loads of track works and all sorts happening. And this one, I honestly didn't realize it wasn't a genuine police van. It does say police, but it's basically a mobile speed camera van, but not for normal traffic, but for trains. And it actually does say Ford Transit long wheelbase high network rail speed camera. So this is I guess Railway Safety Camera Partnership, working in partnership with Network Rail, so DVLA, ANPR equipped, and it's used by the British Transport Police. So I can tell you one thing: they definitely nail the cameras. They're very accurate, and a 12 plate Ford Transit. This is always tinted, so that's good, although they usually have a gap at the back as well, but never mind. Pretty accurate, and again, for a London-based layout, I thought this is a must. So that's all my oh no, I left the best for last, actually, and that I just this last one I got in a model shop. It was the last item in its category, so I decided to buy it so it wouldn't spend too much time alone on a shelf. And it's a BSA motorcycle and sidecar from the RAC, and it was only £4. You can see the RAC logo and it looked very cool. And I thought, why not, for a classic. It looks quite cool. It's small as well, but I guess in 00 scale everything looks much smaller. So this is the last one in my collection so far, with loads more coming. And if you want to see what happens to these and the layout I will eventually build, and make sure you subscribe, and you'll be able to catch up with everything that's happening with all of my collections, but also with the 00 gauge, or call it 1:76 scale layout, actually layouts that I will do. Until then, I hope you all stay safe, like the video, and have a wonderful day. Take care.